Good morning, good morning, good morning, friends. Welcome to Stonybrook Stamper. My name is Rita, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm located in Steinbach, Manitoba, Canada. So today, I'm working on my series of kids' birthday cards, and I'm using this stamp set Party Puffins. It's in our 2022-23 annual catalog, this stamp set. I love it. It's so cute. I've enjoyed working with it. The puffin is so cute, and I've never really knew what puffins are, so it's been fun. It's been fun doing it. Today's card I'm actually copying. I found it on Pinterest, and it was posted by Monique Meyer. Hopefully I'm not totally destroying her name. And I copied it, made a tiny little bit of changes with what I had, and I will talk you through this card. So thank you very much for joining me, and let's start making the card. So like, the surprise part is that here we have the puffin and the sentiment, and I love the fact that, you know, he's making a wish for a fish. And then you open it up and there's more stamping. So here's the birthday puffin. It says happy birthday with a cake and a fish as a present. So that is my card. So let's make it. I'm just putting things away so I can have some room to work on. So my some of the stuff is already pre-done, but I will talk you through it. So I'm using 11 by 4 1/4 base. It's 4 1/4 by 11. So it's a piece of paper cut in half, and so it's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So you end up having the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, and it's a top fold. So I'm just gonna burnish the score line. So I like my cards nice and flat. So there we go. So I'm gonna start with doing the inside first. I stamped the party puffin, and I colored it in, just the hat and the beak and the feet. Then I stamped the cake and tried to color coordinate it to the hat, the plate, and the fish, and also the candles and the circles on the hat, and the flame and the pom-pom. So that's kind of what I did on there. So I'm going to attach the fish to the cake. I'm using my favorite Tombow mono liquid glue multi-purpose. It's I love using this glue. It's very strong, but I like it too because it gives me a moment to align things. Just to make sure that I'm happy with where I place things. Okay, let's do that right here, right at the edge of the cake. And then I have a habit of just the inside of the card. I just put a little bit of glue on just from the top. I attach it. That way, if the person wants to remove it and do something else or pass it on to somebody, they can. It doesn't ruin the whole card. It's a lot easier to take that off. There. So the sentiment inside says happy birthday. I'm just going to hold this fish down so it doesn't move for a few seconds. So the glue sets. All right. So it doesn't come with the dies, this stamp set. So I fussy cut the fish for it. So I have 2 fish that were fussy cut. All right. So now on the top part of the outside of the card, we're gonna take the rest of the things. So like I said, it's the card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So then I cut black cardstock 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm gonna, and then my designer series paper from an old set that I had. I like the stripes, and it is 1/4 less than the black. So this is then, let me see my notes here. This is then 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to attach this to my black cardstock. My sleeves up. Squeeze some glue, wiggle it around. All right. I don't really measure things or rule them up. I eyeball it. So for that reason, I like using the multi-glue that allows me to move things around, because it's not always straight when I try to do it. All right, so this looks good. So we'll attach that. And the next thing is I'm gonna attach these two to the card base. I have a hard time talking and concentrating, so a lot of times you'll have silence, because if I'm concentrating on something, I won't be babbling around. All right, so let's see. I'm using used paper, recycle it, because nobody's gonna see that anyways. And I'll give you the dimensions right away for the black cardstock. The black cardstock, the smaller black cardstock is, let's see, black. It's 2 1/4 by 3. And the white cardstock that the puffin is stamped on is 2 by 2 3/4. So just 1/4 of an inch less each time. So at this point, you can either put this on dimensionals or glue it in. And I'm going to glue it in because it does get thick. And especially for people that want to mail the cards, it's easier if they are, if they're not so thick. Okay, let me just put this down here. I'm doing it more in the lower right hand side corner. Have it take for a bit. So now I'm gonna, oh, there's my, okay. So I'm gonna attach my fish to the circle. I made a couple of circles using some of our circle dies that are stitched, and then I didn't have anything really, really small, so I used my hole punch and punched out from with a gray cardstock, the hole punch, so it progresses to show that the bubbles of thinking, the thoughts are there. So I'm gonna use my block dimensionals for this. I'm gonna use my small ones to attach the fish. In my other card, I used my glue dots, but this time I decided that I wanted to try it with dimensionals to see what it will look like having it raised a little bit. Sometimes we can change things up and see what we like better. And then that way, if we have to remake the card, we know which one we prefer. Oh, come on, get off. There we go. So on my biggest circle, I'm putting my fish. Okay, and I'm gonna glue this on. I think on my other one, I glued the fish on, and then I did the dimensionals for the circle, but this time I'm doing it the other way. I wanted the fish more to stand out. So we're gonna put a little bit of glue here for the one circle. And where is my tweezer? Here is one tweezer. Whichever one I grab first. Just hold it down so it sets. And then I'm gonna do the next circle. Once you have everything ready, making the card is really simple. So sometimes when I make multiple cards, like this time I'm just making 2 of this card. But when I make 6 or 4 of the cards, then I get all the bases ready, cut all the layering, like then I'll cut whatever, if I need like 4 or 6 black cardstock, I'll cut it to size. The DSP I'll cut to size. I'll cut all the circles and whatever is necessary. So then I have them all ready, and then it's assembly line in making all the cards. So here's my sentiment, make a wish. That's why I'm calling this card Party Puffins Make a Wish. Now, I wasn't sure which labeler I wanted to use, so I'm using my double oval punch, and but the smaller part of the punch, this is too small for the sentiment. So I punched out the same ovals, the scalloped ovals, in 2 different colors, but I wanted it to stand out a bit. So I had taken my my blends marker, and I just outlined the color to match the ribbon of the fish. I did it from the back, but I wanted the gray to show, but then the bottom doesn't show. So the trick is to cut this in half. So if you ever need to customize something like this, you cut it in half, you put them both down, add a bit of glue to it, or tape, whatever you prefer to use. And then what I did is, I can't remember who I got this trick from, somebody on one of the designers on YouTube. You can get an amazing trips, hacks to go with what you're making. Lots of things to learn. And then I did the same thing here. So as you can see, there's a gap, right? That's what you want. That's what makes it bigger. So you just align it, make it straight, line it up. Not worry about that. Some of the stuff might not show exactly. Like you can see there's a gap right there, and there's a gap, but nobody's gonna notice that. It's just minor. So now I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna use dimensionals, my black dimensionals to do that. What did I do with the pick? There it is. Take that off. Oops, it's stuck on my finger. I love having two sizes of dimensionals instead of just cutting them all apart. And I love the fact that, let's see. Okay, never mind. I love the fact that we have two colors and two sizes. It beats having to take your marker and trying to color the dimensionals on the sides so that it doesn't really, so it blends in with cardstock. I don't know if some of you remember those days. So which way do I want to put this? I want to add this here somewhere. And I see I got a smudge there, but that looks like it might be glue. So I'm going to use my handy dandy glue eraser. We used to sell it. Now you can buy it at your local scrapbook store. I don't know if Michael's carries it too or not, but you can also order it from Amazon. There, I love that I can, it takes off the glue. All right, well, that's basically my card. I'm gonna burnish it one more time. Where's my, what's it called? Well, I'll use this. Just something. There we go. Just wanted it flat. Close my glue if I know what I did with the lid. And there it is. I'm always losing things. One day I'm gonna lose my head. So one of the things that I had also learned is keep your glue upside down in a little jar. Then it's always ready to go. So here are my two cards. Aren't they cute? I love them. Inside you open it up and you have happy birthday. You have the puffin and the cake and his present, the fish. What else don't we all want? Yeah, we all want fish. Well, at least equivalent to the fish. So that's using our Party Puffins stamp set, and makes a cute card. I have another card that I'll be recording in a few minutes that also has to do with the Party Puffins. So stay tuned and watch that card too. So thank you for joining me. You can always reach me. This will be uploaded to both YouTube and to my Facebook account. That's Stonybrook Stamper. And if you are interested in any of the products we sell, you can give me a call. You can text me, you can email me. And if you need a catalog, we just started our spring catalog in January to May. I have some beautiful things too. And so I'm doing this for this week. I'm doing a series of kids cards, about 6 or 7 different kids cards. So join me to see what cards I'm making. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and stay safe and enjoy the warm, beautiful winter weather. Bye-bye.